Hello students, I'm Pratima Patil with the third lesson in biology of class 8, that is conservation of plant side animals. Okay, we are studying today third lesson in class 8, that is conservation of plant side animals. Right. So first of all, we should know that why we have to go for conservation of plants and animals. What is necessary to conserve the plants and animals? Right. So it is very important to go for the conservation of the plants and animals, especially those plants and animals which are under threat or under endangered. If we did not conserve them, if we did not go for preservation of them, protection of them, then definitely those plants and animals will undergo to the extinct species. Right? Extinct species means that particular variety or type of the animal or the plant is now no more available upon the earth. Right. So if we did not conserve, then the ultimate result will be those plants and animals will go for extinction. Right. So to avoid that problem of extinction, we have to go for conservation of plants and animals. Okay. So in this third lesson, biology, conservation of plants and animals, what all things we are studying, just once have a glance on that. Right. First one, that is about the deforestation, then drought, desertification. So these three are with respect to the natural disasters we are studying. Okay, with the causes and the consequences of that. Right. Causes means what is the reason why this is happening, and the consequences means the effects. If this is the problem, then what is the effect of that? That we are studying under the heading of consequences of either deforestation, drought, and desertification. Okay. So next one, that is biosphere reserves. So we know that these kind of natural disasters may happen. So what we have to do that, we have to go for preservation or conservation of the plants and animals by biosphere reserves, that is sanctuaries. These are the protected areas. Okay, through that we are going to protect the animals as well as the plants. Okay, so the next one, the national parks and the sanctuaries we are studying under biosphere reserves only. Okay, so the next one is biodiversity, very important part. Usually we will ask a question of definition of biodiversity itself. So that we are studying, then the flora and the fauna with respect to the biodiversity only we are studying again. Okay, next one is endemic species and endangered species, very important this also. Okay, then next is red data book, ecosystem, migration, recycling of paper and reforestation. These last two bits, that is recycling of paper and reforestation, are with respect to avoid these problems. Avoid the problems of natural disasters. Okay, so one by one we will see today, right? So the first one is deforestation. We will study right now with respect to this deforestation. Okay. Deforestation, right? The name itself, the name of this itself is indicating that forestation means we have to go for planting of the trees in bulk at a time. Deforestation means it is just vanishing or removing or cutting. Right? It is called as a cutting down, or completely the forest is vanished. Complete all the trees of the forest are being cut down. Right? So if this is the thing, if deforestation is going on, then what are the causes of that? This is very important. Causes of deforestation, right? Causes, I said you, with respect to the each disasters, for deforestation, drought, and desertification, we have to study causes as well as the consequences of that, right? So causes of deforestation. What is the reason behind the deforestation? The first main reason behind that deforestation is the procuring the land for agriculture. Very important one. The first point, the first cause of deforestation is procuring the land for agriculture. Procuring, utilizing, right? Utilizing the land for agriculture purpose. Cut down complete trees of the forest, make it completely free area from the tree, then go for agriculture in that land. What is necessary to go for agriculture in the forest only? Why not we can do that one in any other open places? Because as and is going on increasing, to fulfill the need of the overpopulation, the need of the food, to fulfill that we have to go for increased agriculture process, right? For that purpose, whatever the area, whatever the agriculture land we are having, that much is not sufficient. For that purpose, they are going for agriculture process even in the forest area also. So for that purpose, they have to go for deforestation, right? So the first cause is the procuring the land for agriculture purpose. Second cause of the deforestation is the for the purpose of fuel, for the purpose of furniture, right? For the purpose of fuel also, they are going to cut down the forest and use that wood for the purpose of fuel. It may be for the purpose of cooking the food or something else, right? So they need the fuel other than this whatever we are having right now with us. So wood is also a very good fuel. So for that purpose also they go for deforestation process, right? So other than that, to make the furnitures, as and as the population is going on increasing, the needs also will increase. Everyone will be having their own interiors inside the house, right? So to make those all furnitures, to make those all interiors inside the house, they need again the wood for cutting down of the trees present in the forest. So this is the second cause of the deforestation process. But other than this, some natural causes are there. Some natural causes are there of deforestation, right? Natural causes means this, behind that particular deforestation process human being is not involved. We are going to call them as natural causes. So what is that? The natural cause is nothing but the forest fire, and other than that, the drought. If the particular area or particular land, if it did not receive the rain for many years, then we are calling that area as a drought affected land or drought affected area, right? So that drought also may be one of the natural cause behind the deforestation process, right? So these are the causes of deforestation. Just remember these all, students. Okay, in the next bit we are studying about the consequences of deforestation or else effects of deforestation, right? Okay, next one is consequences. Consequences. When we are discussing about the consequences, I think you may be getting the answers by yourself, that what are the effects of deforestation, in the sense what is the importance of the trees we are getting here, right? So those all importance of the trees only we are going to add over here in the reverse way as the consequences of deforestation. So the first consequence of deforestation. Consequences are nothing but, I said you, these are the effects of deforestation. If we are going for a deforestation process, then what is the effect of that deforestation upon the environment and upon the human life or any other animal's life, right? So that is under consequences we are studying. So what is the first consequence? So for that purpose, I'll give you a small example. Just go through this example, students. Just observe. See, this is a tree. Right? Okay. We all know that what is the special characteristics of the plants. The characteristic of the plant is it is going to absorb the through the stomata or the small pores present upon the leaves, and it is going to release the oxygen, right? It is going to release the oxygen to the environment, to the atmosphere, right? And what is the characteristics of the human being and other animals? Just an example of that. Okay, we are having the breathing system, as we are going to absorb the oxygen and we are going to release the carbon dioxide. Right? So whatever the product of breathing is there, that is carbon dioxide is the breathing product, what we are going to exhale. Right? So that carbon dioxide is going to be utilized by the plants or the trees. Right? And whatever the breathing product by the plants is there, that is the oxygen, which is going to be released to the atmosphere, is going to be utilized by the human. Is going to be utilized by the humans. Right? So by this, the oxygen and carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere is balanced. Right? By this process, whatever the number of human like animals or as the human being is there, the population of the human being is there, and the number of the trees are there. Because of that, concentration in the atmosphere is balanced. Right? For example, now what we did your deforestation process. That is, we cut down the trees. Right? That means imagine that this is not present now. Right? Trees are not present now. So you can imagine, students, over here that here oxygen releaser, that is the trees, are not present. Because of that, oxygen concentration in the atmosphere will definitely decrease. Right? Oxygen concentration in the atmosphere will definitely decrease because to release the oxygen, plants and trees are now not present in sufficient number. Right? Next one. Carbon dioxide, what we are releasing as a breathing product, as an exhaled product, we are releasing the carbon dioxide. That concentration, the carbon dioxide gas, to absorb that carbon dioxide gas, again, trees are not there. Right? So because of that, we can say that carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere will increase. Right? This is how, actually I have to write only about oxygen concentration will decrease and carbon dioxide concentration will increase. So how it is going on increasing or decreasing, this is a very good example. You can remember in this way. Okay, so the first consequence of the deforestation process is oxygen concentration. Oxygen concentration increases. Right? Second one, carbon dioxide. Just a minute, student. It should decrease actually on here. Sorry. Decreases. Carbon dioxide concentration increases. Right? Because of the deforestation, oxygen concentration decreases in the atmosphere and carbon dioxide concentration increases in the atmosphere. It is a very good consequence of the deforestation, which is directly affecting the living organisms. Okay, next one. Third consequence. As we are observing that carbon dioxide concentration is going on increasing because of the high concentration of the carbon dioxide in the atmospheric temperature rises. Getting? The atmospheric temperature rises because of this increased carbon dioxide concentration. Why? Because this carbon dioxide gas is going to trap the sunlight, which is going to be reflected back from the earth. Okay, this carbon dioxide is absorbing that and making the atmosphere. Right. So because of this, atmospheric temperature increases. This is the third consequence. Atmospheric temperature rises. Right? So if the atmospheric temperature rises globally, then definitely it is going to cause global warming. Right? It can cause global warming. The deforestation can cause global warming, also increase the temperature throughout the world, throughout the globe. Right? So because of that, we can say that we are going to be face the other natural disaster called as a global warming. And because of this increased temperature globally, again we have to go for the next consequence, that is, if the atmospheric temperature increases, then the ice present in the polar region is going to melt, and this nearby area people can again going to face the problem called as a flood. Right? Other than this, this increased temperature of the atmosphere is going to affect or disturbs the water cycle. It is going to disturb the water cycle. Increased temperature of the atmosphere is going to disturb the water cycle because we all know that water is having three states, right? Solid, liquid, and gas. Liquid which is present upon the earth. Maybe imagine this is the liquid state of the water, right? This is the water. Is going to evaporate, right? Is going to evaporate and forms the vapors or gas state. It is going to enter now. This is the gaseous state of water. This is the water which is in liquid state. Okay, just imagine this. And this gaseous state of the water which is present in the atmosphere is going to again condense and convert itself into the liquid state of water, right? So this increased temperature of the atmosphere is going to affect this water cycle, because if the atmospheric temperature increases, then more amount of the water is going to evaporate and convert into gas. But to condense this gaseous state of water, temperature should decrease. But here temperature is going on increasing. Because of that, condensation process will not take place. So because of this process, we can say that there will be no rain at all in the particular places. Right? That is nothing but the drought. If the particular place or the area is not receiving, then that is called as a drought affected area, I said already. Right? So because of this, condensation will not take place, I said. This is definitely going to disturb the water cycle. Right? So here these all are the consequences of deforestation. Just remember these all with explanation. I have explained you. Maybe this is asked for 3 marks. This question may be asked for 3 marks. That is define deforestation. Write its causes and consequences. 2 causes, 2 consequences you need to write. If it is asked for 3 marks, if the same question is asked for 5 marks, then increase the number of causes and consequences in the answer sheet. Right? Clear? So this is completely about the deforestation. So next one. Next one, that is drought. Yes, students. The next natural disaster, that is drought, we will study now. Right? I already many a times I have used the drought word in the consequences of the deforestation. I think you might have got what is meant by drought. Once again, I'll tell you, listen. Drought means the area which is not going to receive the rain from many years. If any 1 year, last year, if that particular area did not get the rain, then we cannot call that area as drought affected area. Many years, from long years, that particular area of the world, if it did not receive the rain and the cracks have been formed on the layer of the earth, then we can call that area as the drought affected area. Right? This is also again because of increased temperature of the atmosphere. This is because of overpopulation or else over concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. As I said, the consequences in the previous one, that is in the deforestation process, same applies over here also, right? So to avoid these all, again we have to go for reforestation only. To avoid this problem of increased atmospheric temperature or else global warming, to avoid these all, to avoid the drought, to avoid the disturbance of the water cycle, we have to go for the only one solution, that is again go for reforestation, that we are studying at the last of this lesson. Right? Next one, desertification. Natural disaster, that is desertification. Desertification. As the name itself, desertification is going to tell you something. The meaning of that it is going to tell, right? Desertification means the conversion of fertile soil into completely sterile soil, that is nothing but the sand, is called as desertification, right? Conversion of fertile soil into sterile soil, that is nothing but sand, right, is called sterile soil also we can call, or as we can even call it as and formation of deserts, and formation of desert is called as desertification, right? Yes, students. Here you came to know what is meant by desertification. That is conversion of the fertile soil, the soil which is having all the nutrients in it. That is called as a fertile soil. From that into a sterile soil. That is now no more nutrients are present in that soil. That is called as a sterile soil, or we can even call it as sand. Right. So conversion of this fertile soil into the sterile soil and forms the desert is called as desertification, right? How it is going to form? How the deserts are going to form? Whatever the deserts we are observing nowadays, those all deserts, once upon a time, those all were a fertile land only. But due to the soil erosion, they converted into a sterile land that is nothing but the desert, right? Due to the soil erosion, due to the soil erosion, the fertile land or fertile soil is going to convert into the sterile. How it is going to convert? So for that purpose, you need to know something about this soil erosion first. Okay, soil erosion everyone has might have studied starting from 5th standard, right? The topsoil which is having the nutrients in it is going to be flown along with the wind or else along with the heavy rainfall, so that that complete nutrients are going to blown out or flown out from that particular land. Now that land is called as a sterile land, which is nothing but a soil erosion, right? So this soil erosion, why it is happening? Already I said you during the deforestation process, that is the trees. Imagine these all are the trees, right, which are having the inside the soil, right? The trees are having the roots which are present deep inside the soil. These roots are helpful to hold the soil tightly. These roots of the trees are helpful to hold the soil tightly, so that even if it is a heavy rainfall or a heavy wind flow, the top soil is not going to be blown out or else washed out or eroded from that particular place. So that the trees are going to help to avoid this soil erosion problem, right? But what we did, we went for a deforestation process. That means we have cut down all the trees present in the forest. So because of that, one more consequence is nothing but that is the soil erosion. The topsoil, which is having all the nutrients, may be eroded from that particular area, which is going to cause completely sterile soil in this particular area. So this area, which is now no trees are present and nutrients present in the soil also completely vanished or eroded in that area. So that has converted itself into, or the rocks present deep inside the soil has exposed, the rocks present deep inside the soil got exposed to the atmosphere, and due to the weathering process, these rocks are converted into sand or else a sterile soil. So this is the main reason behind this conversion or formation of desert by this desertification process. Right? This desertification problem has arisen because of deforestation process. Right? So to avoid or else to overcome this problem, what we have to go? Again, we have to go for reforestation. That is again going to plant the trees in a bulk amount at a time, so that you can again form the forest over there, and we can avoid the soil erosion process, and nutrients will be again regained back naturally in that particular area, right? So this is about the desertification process. Okay, next one. Yes, students. Next, we have completed deforestation, drought, desertification is done, right? So the next one is the biosphere reserves. Biosphere reserves. Okay, so the name itself is telling biosphere means we are going to conserve the living organisms, right? Biosphere reserves. Reserves are nothing but a large area where it is completely protected. Okay, whatever the living organisms present in that large area are completely protected. So this is actually biosphere reserves, which includes the national parks and sanctuaries, right? The most large area of the biosphere reserves includes the one or many national parks and one or many sanctuaries in it. Okay, for your studies, they have given an example of the Pachmari Biosphere Reserve. Pachmari Biosphere Reserves. As I said just now, that a biosphere reserve is a very large area of a protected land which includes one or many national parks and one or many sanctuaries in it. Right. So this Pachmari Biosphere Reserve consists of one it consists of one national park called as Satpura National Park and two sanctuaries called as Bori Sanctuary and Pachmari Sanctuary. Okay, so Pachmari Biosphere Reserves consists of one national park. Consists of one national park called as Satpura National Park. Satpura National Park, right? And it consists of two sanctuaries called as Bori Sanctuary, called as Bori Sanctuary and Pachmari Sanctuary. Right, students? Just remember the biosphere reserves with respect to this Pachmari Biosphere Reserve. Okay, this Pachmari Biosphere Reserve consists of one national park called as Satpura National Park, and it consists of two sanctuaries, that is Bori Sanctuary and Pachmari Sanctuary. Okay, so you should even know that what is this national and what are the sanctuaries. Okay, national parks are a very big area of a protected land. Okay, national park is a very big area of a protected land which includes where we are going to give the protection. Includes means to what we are going to give the protection over there. We are going to give the protection to the flora, to the fauna, right? To the natural water reservoirs, and along with the natural water reservoirs, even to the historical monuments, and along with the tribals. To what all things we are giving the protection in the national park? I said you, national park is a very large area of a protected land. Inside that national park, hunting, poaching, and capturing of the animals is completely prohibited, right? So what all things are going to be protected inside this national park? In this national park, we are going to protect the flora. That is, flora is nothing but plants, fauna is nothing but animals, right? Water reservoirs, for river or small streams are present in that national parks, then those are also going to be given protection, so that other industrial people are not going to release their effluent in that water reservoirs. In this way, we are going to give the protection to these water reservoirs, and along with historical monuments, if it comes or includes in that national parks, then to that historical monuments also we are going to give the protection. Along with that, tribal people who are living in this particular area are also given protection. They are allowed to stay in this national park and live their life, right? So in the national parks, we are giving the protection to the flora, to the fauna, right, to the water reservoirs, that is rivers, streams, ponds, and all. And other than that, historical monuments and tribal peoples who are living in that particular area are also given protection in the national parks, right? So this is the complete habitat which is created artificially, or like not artificially, which is created. It is not where the animals are there. There only we are giving the protection. We are going to they take those particular animals which are under endanger, and we are allowing them to stay over here in the national park because this is a completely protected areas. Human activities are completely prohibited in these areas, right? So coming to the sanctuaries. Coming to the sanctuaries, here these are present. Sanctuaries are nothing but the natural habitats. Habitat. Natural habitat means we can say even that wherever the particular animals are present, there only we are going to give them the protection. There only we are building the territory and giving the protection to those particular animals which are under endanger, right? Not only animals, even to the birds, even to the insects like butterflies and all also we are going to give the protection in these sanctuaries. So here in the sanctuary, the natural habitat of the animal is not disturbed. The natural habitat of the animal is not disturbed, right? Wherever the wildlife is found in that particular forest area, there only we are building the territory, and there only we are going to give the protection to them. That is nothing but the sanctuaries, right? So this is completely about the biosphere reserves with respect to the national parks and sanctuaries, right? So in this national park and sanctuary, just remember this Pachmari Biosphere Reserve, as I said just now, that it consists of one national park and two sanctuaries. One national park is nothing but the Satpura National Park. Two sanctuaries are the Bori Sanctuary and the Pachmari Sanctuary, right? This is about the biosphere reserves. Coming to the next one. Coming to the next point of the lesson, next part of the lesson, that is the national park, right? National park sanctuary I have explained already. Next one is the biodiversity. Next one is the biodiversity. So here, students, just remember that word, the biodiversity itself is going to indicate something. That is, bio means, I said you, living organisms. Bio is nothing but living organisms. Diversity. Diversity means variety, vast varieties of, right? So different varieties or vast varieties of the living organisms found in that particular area is called as biodiversity of that area. Getting? Once again, definition of biodiversity. Varieties of living organisms. Varieties of living organisms, that is plants, animals, and microorganisms. Microorganisms found in that particular area. Found in that particular area is called as biodiversity of that area. Right, students? Here, biodiversity means what are the different types of the plants found in that particular area. Right? We can take it an example. Plants. which are around 30 types of plants are present in that particular area. Right? Next one, about the animals. Animals, whenever I tell, just imagine that these all are the wild animals. Right? These are not domestic animals. Just animals, whenever I pronounce, just remember it is a wild animal. Right? Types of the animals present in that particular area, take it an example of around 40 types are present. Next one, that is next living organism, that is microbes, or you can call it as microorganisms also. Take it an example, hardly around 25 or 28 types of microbes are present in that particular area. So overall, including these all at a time, we are going to call it as these 30 types of plants, 40 types of animals, and these 28 types of microbes. Togetherly, we are calling as biodiversity of that area. Clear? So, togetherly, the types of plants, animals, and microbes found in that particular area, we are calling it as biodiversity of that area. Right? So, usually, a 1 mark question will be asked upon this. Usually, especially definition will come. Okay. So, next part, flora and fauna, I'll explain you in the next class. Okay. Thank you. Super.